This is a project I'm working on at the moment. It's called the Pompey Centre. It's in Portsmouth, and it's coming out quite nice so far. I'm quite happy with what I've done. I've drawn it up in Revit, and then, as we can see in Twinmotion, I've rendered this up. But I'm not happy with the outside. It looks like it's an island in a desert. So what I want to do is give it some context and add buildings, the actual buildings surrounding it. The project was based on an OS map, so it's reasonably accurate, positions of buildings and roads. So I just want to add the surrounding area to that. So in order to do that, it's quite straightforward. I just come down to populate, and then once I'm in populate, use the urban button on the right hand side here. And once I've got urban selected, I can now, within the map, just start choosing where I want to be. The default for my one is in Paris or near Paris, so that's no good to me. I need to be in Portsmouth, UK. And what I need to do is try and find where it is that I've been working on. So I know it's near this railway line here, and I can see Fratton Park, which is the football ground there. So I just want to be outside of that. Once I've got to here, I can now select these cursors and move them around to change how much of it I want to include in my drawing. The bigger it is, the longer it's going to take to get into there. So I'm pretty happy with that, I think. In fact, I might make it a bit smaller just so it doesn't take quite so long to drop in. And then click download and place. Now this can take a little while to come in, but I believe it's worth it in the end because at the moment we can see around the outside here there's nothing. So when I'm doing scenes or creating scenes and images, it's nice to have the actual background of what's really there, even if it's in quite a basic view. Now, when it comes in, and I zoom out a little bit, we can see that I've got what I've drawn mixed in with everything else that's around here. So what I've got to try and do is work out the orientation of it all and see where I want to start moving things to. Now, when I come up to the scene selection, come right down to the bottom here, I've got my context. If I click on that, you can now see I've got the move toggle arrows. So I'm just going to drop it down ever so slightly. I don't want to drop it down too much, but you can see I just want my drawing to blend through, but not lose the drawing below it. So what I've got now is, in fact, if I zoom in a bit closer, I should be able to get that even more accurately done. So there's just a sweet spot to find. I just missed it there. There it is. So I've now got my topo solids, and I've also got the populated surrounding buildings and map dragged in as well. So I can now, when I hover over this set of arrows, I've got this middle portion here, which I can now use to drag it all around. And I think that's where it's going to sit over there like that. So I just need to start lining things up a little bit. Sometimes the buildings aren't always dead accurate, so sometimes you might want to use the roadways to help you with that. I think this area here is going to help me a little bit, so I'm just going to drag something like that, I believe. And again, you can play around with this and line yours up a bit better. It depends on the accuracy of the OS map and the map that's used within here. Once I've done that, I can then start selecting buildings and get rid of them. So this one here, for instance, I can just click on the building itself and hit delete, and then click on this one, hit delete, because these are the buildings that I've already modelled in Revit and brought into Twinmotion, and then it leaves the rest of the buildings behind in relation to everything else. So the other thing I like to do, because I don't particularly like the white buildings, we can actually change the color of these. So I'm just going to go into materials. I'm going to find concrete, and I'm going to use this fine concrete and just drag that on there. Just darkens it down a little bit and makes it a little bit less harsh and blends in a bit better. But what I have now is when I get in close and I'm creating scenes, I've now got what I've drawn in a bit of context and a little bit more about around the outside. Which for me makes it look a lot better and gives it a bit more of a realistic feel to the drawing itself. And that's how I do it.